Federal government commences distribution of palliatives to flood victims in Rivers State communities. Calls to action in strengthening Nigeria's democracy continue as electoral observers launch political parties' performance index. And Kogi State government mourns boat accident victims, calls for enhanced, safer marine transportation. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on Nta News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. The Kogi State government has expressed deep sorrow and shock over the tragic boat accidents that occurred in Kupa Ebe village during the early hours of Thursday, November 28th. Reports indicate that a boat transporting passengers from Kupa Ebe to Kacha Market capsized near Pata Dambo, resulting in significant casualties, while rescue efforts are still ongoing. A statement by the Kogi State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Famwo, confirms that 24 victims have been rescued and are currently receiving medical treatment in nearby health facilities, but informs that many more are feared dead. The state government extends condolences to the families of those that lost their loved ones in this unfortunate incident and prayed for the deceased. The statements reiterated Kogi State government's commitments to supporting rescue efforts and are working in close collaboration with state and federal agencies to minimize the loss of life. Governor Ahmed Usman Odudo has directed the State Emergency Management Agency to provide immediate relief materials to affected families, and the Ministry of Health has also been instructed to ensure that survivors receive adequate medical attention. And joining me live now via Zoom to talk on this is Mani Etche on the US on safety in the maritime sector. You're welcome to the News Desk at 3.
Thank you for having me, Prince.
All right, what would be your view on this reoccurrence of boat mishaps in the country? Would you say authorities are struggling to enforce safety measures and regulations for water transportation?
Yes, the authorities struggling to enforce
We'll try and get our guest back once his connection is restored. But let's stay in Kogi State, as the government has highlighted the strategic appointments of Deputy Governor Joel Salifu Ibu as chairman of the State Human Capital Development Council. Governor Ahmed Usman Odudo made the appointments as part of his administration's commitment to fostering human capital development for economic growth and prosperity. A statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Famwo, emphasizes that the government is focused on transforming its abundant human resources into a key driver of development. He expresses that the appointments of the Deputy Governor to lead the Human Capital Development Council aligns with the Governor's vision of leveraging Kogi State's rich human capital as a tool for progress. Elder Joel Oyibo, with his background as a teacher and union leader, brings a wealth of experience to this critical role. He further noted that the administration's significant investments in education and skills development aims to position Kogi as a hub for capacity building and innovation. Famwo also revealed that Kogi State is on track to make a historic commitment to educating education funding, proposing over 30% of its 2025 budget for the sector. Consequently, he highlighted recent initiatives aimed at boosting workers' welfare and efficiency, particularly by digitalizing the state's scholarship scheme and equipping youths with essential digital skills. All right, let's give it another go with our guest to talk on the latest boat mishap in Kogi State. If you can hear me, sir, just give us your take on how things are in this sector currently. Are the authorities enforcing well enough regulations concerning maritime safety?
The maritime safety and the mishap is a reflection of the general neglect of the Nigerian waterways. There's it, which incidentally, the consciousness for it is improving. There being over-reliance on the highway to the neglect of waterways. So this increasing awareness is helpful. But most times, the awareness and the drive for enforcement is left only to the federal. 28 states in Nigeria, let me say 29 in the federal capital, water or lakes. They need to be doing the purposeful and in an organized form to sensitize the use of waterway. They need it. They need to encourage public partnership in the transportation of people and goods across world. Often they focus only on the road. On the road, well, you know how important that is. But it is if the state governors themselves and local government begin to force on sensitizing their people, proper provisions for standard safety equipment, for standard seaworthy or river-worthy boats, for standard jetties that can be used for people to get on board these boats. It is this neglect that is causing the mishap. And of course, there are issues of drug abuse and overloading that is often mentioned. In most cases, like in the Kogi one, there's still investigation going on, but the reports are that there were 200 people in the boat, 200. Just in October, there were 300 people also involved in an incident in Niger State, 300. Of the 300, 150 were rescued. Some are still missing. Over 100 people are still missing today. That is in October. Here we are in November. We are still having a similar experience. And by the way, it is a regular thing. You hear it happening in Bayelsa, you hear it happening in Cross River, you hear it happening in Ogun, you hear it happening in Aguata, you hear it happening in Benue. It is recurrent across the country. So the issue now is not just for Nigeria Inland Waterways Authority. No, it is now incumbent and mandatory and necessary for the state governors, particularly, to become more conscious of water safety and water transportation. That neglect has to stop. It is emblematic, as I've said, of how much we have neglected waterway transport. It is a vital part of economic development. It's a vital part of revenue generation. It's a vital part of infrastructure development. If we can build a standard jetty, we have airports, we have garages. Why can't we build jetties for people to get on board standard ferries? Ferries can be standardized. We have to stop using canoes. We have to stop using wooden boats, and then we attach some motorized engine to it and call it engine boat. No, they are not safe. They are not human. They are not fit for human use. They are not even fit to carry animals in the 21st century. Not anymore. It was okay 100 years ago, probably, but not so in 2024. These are issues of national safety, national economic infrastructure and development, national development, and even national cohesion, because it's a mode of transportation, so it brings people together. The people that died yesterday or on Thursday, they were going to Niger State from Kogi to buy things from the market. So it's about commerce, about commercial exchange and social exchange. So when a means of transportation like water is consistently neglected, we'll continue to have mishaps. And it is not enough. A mishap like this happens, governors come and they mourn. No, that's not good enough. It's not good enough for them to say, oh, we are sorry for those that have died and commiserate with the families. It is not good enough. What is good enough is what is happening in the Ministry of Works. What's happening in the Ministry of Transport? Do they have a marine department? 90% of the states in Nigeria that have waterways, they don't have a marine department. If you have a marine department, do they go there to the marine or water side or river side on a regular basis to check? Do the people that use the waterways, do they wear a vest? Do they wear a life vest? 99% of the time, 99, I repeat, people using the waterways, they don't wear a life vest. They don't wear a life jacket. If you don't wear a life jacket, that in itself is already criminal. It's an offense. Is the boat they are using standard? No, it is not. These are the issues the governor should be dealing with. These are the issues, even chairmen, local government chairmen, because this is a cross-cutting issue. It cuts across government, state government, local government. If an incident happens in a local government, what has a local government chairman in that area been doing to sensitize his own people?
Okay, sir, thank you. All right, many thanks, Mani Eche, transportation experts, for that comprehensive analysis of the situation. Clearly it's needless, and certainly there needs to be an overhaul of how things are done in this sector. Many thanks, sir. Now, the Ministry of Regional Development has commenced distribution of relief items to communities ravaged by floods across the 9 states of the Niger Delta region. Inaugurating the distribution here in Rivers State, the Minister Abubakar Momo, represented by the Permanent Secretary Dr. Shoaib Belgore, noted that the yearly intervention is to help flood victims recover from their losses, while urging the state government to ensure fair distribution of items.
For relief of flood victims, people who have suffered the impact of this flood. We do understand that this will go a long way in alleviating some of the suffering and reflect the commitment of the federal government to the welfare of our people, and particularly to the welfare of the people of Rivers State.
Deputy Governor of Rivers State, Professor Ngozi Nma-Odu, who represented Governor Similaye Fubara, commended federal government for the intervention. Among items for distribution were bags of rice, vegetable oil, motorcycles, grinding machines, and mosquito nets. The ministry is expected to replicate the intervention in Delta and Bayelsa states in the coming days. Now, key players in the manufacturing sector want greater investments to further boost Nigeria's economy. They made the call during the 36th Annual General Meeting of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, Anambra, Ebonyi and Enugu chapter, held in Enugu, with the theme Revitalizing Nigeria's Economy Through Manufacturing-Driven Non-Oil Export. Chairperson of MAN, Anambra, Enugu and Ebonyi, Lady Ada Chukwudozie, said Nigeria needed a paradigm shift from what it used to be in terms of exports by supporting the manufacturing sector. She added that to ensure economic sustainability, the country must further diversify and develop critical sectors that drive the non-oil sector, stressing that several countries had successfully implemented manufacturing-driven non-oil export strategies to drive economic growth and diversification.
A lot of talks about productivity. There's no way you can revitalize the economy without making sure that the economy is quite productive. And in terms of productivity, we are not just talking about production, but adding value to what is produced, and that's where manufacturing comes into play.
This is one of the 8-point agenda of Mr. President. So I am happy and I'm excited that Southeast have even keyed in practically to the 8-point agenda of Mr. President.
Put in place access to finance for manufacturers. It is a competitive space. The world is becoming smaller and smaller. So even if you are manufacturing in Nigeria for export, you are competing with people who are manufacturing in China, where they get funding at 1%, 2% maximum.
We need to leverage on those policies, enabling policies that government has put in place. We need to work on them. We can't work in isolation.
You're watching the news desk at 3 on Nta News24. More reports after this break. Welcome back. Today marks the closing ceremony of the 2024 Nigeria-China Economic Expo. The events, which began 3 days ago, aimed at strengthening economic ties between Nigeria and China and provided a platform for both countries to explore new opportunities for cooperation and growth.
We are also seeing is the quality assurance that the trade house tends to give to you, Nigerians, that if you take us to the trade house, we are able to ensure that all the necessary quality assurance that the Chinese market need, we're able to provide that for you.
While engaging in discussions, exhibitions and business-to-business meetings, participants emphasized the importance of strengthening economic ties between Nigeria and China.
Come to Nigeria, introduce our factory.
One step. Now, beginning business. Second, have a plan.
We partner with investors from all over the world. We're seeing a lot of interest from China, and so we're very happy to be part of the China Trade and Economic and Trade Expo.
We've successfully brought the buyer and seller together. And apart from that, we were able to bring people that can add value.
The expo also featured various sectors such as agriculture, manufacturing, and technology. The fight against cancer in Nigeria has taken another turn as the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatments has intensified efforts to equip healthcare workers with evolving knowledge and skills. Uche Ugochukwu reports that specialists in 4 critical areas were selected for a 3-day training session in Abuja.
Cancer has long been a public health crisis in Nigeria, with thousands of lives lost yearly due to late detection and inadequate care. To this end, NICRITE has empowered over 1,000 healthcare workers across the 6 geopolitical zones, efforts geared toward closing gaps in cancer care and prevention. This new wave of training is expected to build on these successes. Cancer immunotherapy is said to be altering treatments globally, and colorectal cancer surgery saves lives with early intervention, while equipping nurses with critical thinking and research skills ensure patient-centered oncology care, and early childhood cancer detection would drastically improve survival rates.
It is going to improve the capacity of our surgeons to deliver optimal surgical care for cancer patients, which reduces recurrence, improving their survival, and improve overall morbidity and mortality.
The institute designed to train all the oncology workforce. This is just the beginning, but we intend to continue training and retraining.
As participants engage themselves in these transformative sessions, the ripple effect is expected to reach Nigeria's healthcare system, bringing hope to patients and their families.
This workshop is empowering us to be able to identify some of those symptoms that when you see, you can suspect and have high index of suspicion, then you can refer the patient to get some tests to run.
As a pharmacist, one of my major responsibilities is to ensure that these drugs, in addition to accessibility, that they are properly used.
NICRA's efforts are a reminder that with the right training and policies, cancer care in Nigeria will be one to reckon with. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
A multifactorial needs assessment of people with disabilities in northeast Nigeria has revealed multi-dimensional issues ranging from displacement, lack of access to public places, unemployment, to lack of access to proper healthcare. The findings were disclosed at a two-day seminar in Abuja, courtesy of the Disability Working Group. The stakeholders' engagements x-rayed the place of disability inclusion in the protection sector and called for domestication of disability laws, especially in northeast Nigeria.
The Disability Working Group gathered together stakeholders, including government agencies and humanitarian partners, to look into critical issues of disability inclusions in programming and as well as giving support.
I really appreciate this because this came at a time where there are enormous needs, and there are a lot of complex humanitarian emergencies, and even at that, people with special needs are always being marginalized.
Yes, they are in the northeast, that is Borno, Yobe, and Adama, to be very precise. So we have a lot of partners there. So that is why we started the pilot test there.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and sister agencies, as well as international organizations, were encouraged to collaborate and close gaps in mainstreaming persons with disabilities challenges. Nigeria's political parties have been told to rise towards meeting the expectations of the citizens they aim to serve. This was part of issues raised at a media briefing for the launch of Political Parties Performance Index by Kimpact Development Initiative, an accredited election observer group. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Open Party. The Political Parties Performance Index represents a groundbreaking initiative aimed at strengthening Nigeria's democracy by enhancing the transparency of political parties. It seeks to bridge the gap between party promises and performance, providing parties with a structured framework to assess and improve their operations.
The period that we are now is the longest in the annal of our democratic journey, and we believe strongly that it is going to continue and it's sustained.
Actors emphasize that the Political Parties Performance Index is built around three core pillars critical to deepening democracy. There are inclusivity practices, legal compliance, and public outreach.
The goal is to strengthen Nigerian democratic institutions by ultimately promoting public trust and citizen engagement in governance.
Together, we can create a more inclusive, accountable, and democratic future for our nation. Furthermore, the Political Parties Performance Index is designed to incentivize political parties to adopt reforms aligned with democratic ideals. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the Al-Hassan Yahya on his election as the president of the Nigeria Union of Journalists at the 8th Triennial National Delegates Conference in Owerri on November 27th. A statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, says Yahya's overwhelming victory was a testament to the NUJ members' confidence in his leadership qualities. The president also congratulates the newly elected members of the NUJ executive and praises the union for organizing a rancor-free election at the conference. The president expresses optimism that Yahya's experience, particularly as the former deputy president of the union, will be instrumental as he leads the fourth estate of the realm. Tinubu emphasizes the importance of the press taking on its constitutional roles with a renewed patriotic passion aligned with the vision and efforts of the founding fathers of journalism in Nigeria. He also encourages Yahya and the new leadership to address malpractices within the industry. The statement affirms his administration's commitment to ensuring a free and independent media, integral to deepening democracy and promoting national development. The president expects Yahya's tenure to reflect and strengthen commitments towards upholding journalism ethics while fostering a collaborative relationship with the government to build a just and equitable society. That concludes the news desk at 3 on Nta News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.